Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, no matter where in the world you might be. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. And for those who are celebrating Christmas, a Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Santa is here, so let's roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Picture never gets old. I absolutely love it. It's one of my all-time favorites. And you guys are very lucky because tonight we have a bonus Highbury Squad episode. Kevin says on a Friday, soak it up, eat it, drink it, inject it. Because who knows when will it happen again? My podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kev, Santa Campbell.
Squaddies, at ease. Let's get into it. Let's get going.
Okay, let's get rolling. Why don't we say hi to some of the usual suspects in the house? By the way, it's been a crazy day. Crazy day, which is why we're an hour late. And let's just say that sometimes when Kev says at the end of the show, tell people you love them, all that kind of stuff, please take note because stuff happens fast in life. So we wish you and your loved ones a very healthy and happy Christmas. Health is wealth.
Oh, what the whole Christmas festive period here.
And I know Super Kev will let you know at the end as well. Right, let's see what we're going. Demsec has COVID. Are you okay? Our OG Demsec, we hope you are. We got Tammy. We got the nemesis, Kev's nemesis in the house. We got Ian. Stardust Man is here. We got Trev, Shampar, Miss Melina is here. Mark is here. Carol is here. GD is here. Greek Commander is here. Oh, the usual suspects, every single one of them. Do you know what warms the cockles of my heart, Kev? Is that they've all become friends from all corners of the earth and cultures, and they are squaddies together.
Which is great. It's great.
Great. Okay, so start getting your questions in. Lynn is here too, of course, one of our favorites. Lynn, we hope that you are doing good. And yes, R.I.P. George Cohen.
Can I? Yes, very much so. R.I.P. George Cohen, absolute legend, one of the obviously World Cup winning squad. Another one bites the dust, unfortunately. So, to his family and friends and obviously everybody, rest in peace. May he rest in peace. I'd just like to say, I did say on Wednesday about the books, should I say. So, squaddies and everybody watching, there's going to be a question, and I want you to pick a number between 1 and 11. And I want you to put it in the chat. And at the end of the show, I am going to get somebody to choose the number 1 to 11. So you choose one, you put it in the chat. So we got it marked. If you double dip, you're out.
We know who's going to double dip.
Hey, if they want to double dip, they're out. You got one chance. Just put your number in and let it ride.
Okay, I'm going to put my number in. Hold on. Here it goes. That's my roulette number, in case anyone knows. And if I was a quarterback in the NFL, I'd have this number on my shirt. And if I was a football player, although when I was playing, Kev, I was more midfield, so that number would not work in the old days. Number 3 as a midfielder? No. I was Cazzola back in the day, Kev. Would you believe that?
Listen, I believe it because it's small, neat, tidy, all that. Cool. Got the wild side to her. Yeah, cool. But number 9, number 11, number
11s.
10.
We've got 7.
I played 9, 11, 8, 7. I played all those numbers.
You did.
I did. I played all them numbers.
7.
So I played 7. Yeah. Because at that time, don't forget, so it was 1 to 11.
Yeah.
So if Rocky weren't playing, for instance, when Rocky weren't playing, and number 7 was free, I wore the 7. I wore 8. I wore 9. I wore 10. I wore 11, depending on, I also wore 12 and 14, but I didn't put them in. I wore 12 and 14 quite a bit, Scotties, but I didn't put them in. But no.
Oh, so awesome. Well, look, I can't believe Newman's number's my number. Oh, God, how's this happen?
I could tell you now, that's never going to win. I can tell you now, that is never going to win. I've actually asked the person for the number already.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got 9. We got I put my 3 up. We got
11. We got 3.
We got 7. We got Arnie 11, 7. We got 6 from Miss Melina. We got 8. So we got 6. We got 9. Come on.
People, they're too smart, They're too smart. They're too smart, man.
Come on, look, now everyone wants your Blakey.
Hey, is anybody seeing? Did you see the 2 pictures I put onto the Twitter feed? By the way,
I did. I sent. I'm just to make sure that he saw it. I sent a WhatsApp to Gianni Judges.
Oh, he's all over it now, and he loves it. He loves it.
He's gonna love it. Absolutely, he's gonna love it.
Potsy weren't spared either. Did you see the second?
No, he wasn't. I sent it to Tom Canton as well, and Tom was like laughing his ass off.
Oh, jeez. Great fun.
I have to say, when I'm feeling blue, I will put that on because it just makes me.
You know what? You've got to, because let me tell you something. And let me tell you something as well, Squaddies. You see, over the festive period, it's about goodwill and all that. But you know what? It can get people down as well. So what you've got to do, you've got to be able to go and get something that will lift your spirits, make you smile. So whether it's a film,
you make us smile.
Hey, listen, we're Squaddies at the end of the day, aren't we? We're all a community, so
totally.
It's good that we could help each other.
Absolutely. All right, let's get this Kevin Says live Q&A rocking and rolling. I did promise you Demian as well, but Demian's show is going to be shifted to tomorrow. So I'll let you know how that's going to go for some of our stateside listeners as well. Right now, we have the icon, the legend that is Super Kev. And I want to kick things off. Start getting your questions in the chat, you guys, for Kev. Ask him anything. I'll save the fun stuff if he's peanut butter or Marmite to the end. But please take advantage of having him here to ask him whatever you want about the transfer market, West Ham, who starts up front, all of that stuff. And I'll mark them and we'll get them all in one by one. But before we get to your questions, I wanted to get Super Kev's take on the Arteta interview with Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports. I love this interview, Kev. I was actually thinking that maybe after I watched this interview, maybe I had to do, confession. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Hold on. Am I pulling the thing across? In the confession box. Go on then, Soph. Say your piece.
I put it on just for the...
Say your piece.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 3 years since my last confession.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
And then the priest says what, Kev?
Listen, I don't know what he says, but get on with it because we ain't got time.
So I want to know, Kev. I thought it was great. I thought he came across great. I actually thought Jamie Carragher did a good job.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a player-on-player trusting. Kev, when you're in that moment, it felt like they were just kind of having a glass of wine, maybe having a meal and talking. And Arteta kind of trusted that process. Um, but I thought he came across incredibly well. And dare I say, as a PR person, I was kind of right about him earlier in his career because he came across a little arrogant, aloof, and maybe it's because he was green in the job, Kev, and he was also trying to learn those ropes of going from being Pep's assistant to being the main man. How do I handle myself? What have I learned at Manchester City? How have I seen Pep handle the media? I thought this was his best interview yet. And I thought he gave away a lot without saying much. What was your take on Mikel's Sky piece?
I thought it was excellent. He came across really well. You could see the growth in him. That's what I will say. You could see the growth in him. I think Jamie Carragher has got the respect of Mikel Arteta for Mikel Arteta.
Tell me why, Kev, because I felt that too.
I think, look, Jamie Carragher, these ex-players are powerful ex-players. Let's get it right. They're very good at what they do. They commentate on the games. They do co-coms. They're on TV quite a lot. So they're powerful guys. And some of the things they say can rub people up the wrong way. But if they truly believe it, they're going to stick by it. That's what they do, So they do have powerful positions. And if you remember rightly, at times, Carragher was quite scathing about Arsenal, early Arteta, really. But you know what, Sophie? Nothing beats results. And when you're a young manager, learning on the job, and there's been ups and downs, and there's been bad times, of course. But he's earned that right now with what he's done this season. What have we done? We've only just stayed at the top until the first break. Now the restart's coming. We're going to see how that goes. But the resurgence of what he's done, he's not only bought good players who maybe some of them thought wouldn't do well, he's also made players who were at the club, like a Xhaka, he's improved him, he's challenged him. And for ex-players, when you see that, this guy's got something. So the respect is there. Once the respect is there, so that's what you get. You get a fantastic interview where Mikel Arteta, you could see he's relaxed, not guarded. After games, he can be a bit guarded, but he's relaxed enough to kind of let his hair down, although his hair don't move. You know what I mean, Soph. He's more comfortable in that position now. You could see it. I thought it was an excellent, good insight into it. And you know what? Especially after the documentary, this is the closest we've been to Mikel Arteta since then, really, in this interview. And he comes across fantastic. Said all the right things. So said, we've got to improve the squad. We're not there yet. This is it. This is what we need. And do you know what, Sophie? I'm going to say this. I think this guy's going to be around for a long time, real long time. If we're smart as a club, obviously we've got to win and all. We know what's got to happen. But when you have people of quality in your building, and he's not finished building yet, we're the youngest team in the league. When all these boys mature together, he wants to dominate. That's what he wants to do.
There's a very understated tone of ambition, and it's understated publicly, but privately, that this guy wants to win. That's all he wants to do.
He's hungry.
Thought he's hungry.
Hungry. Yeah.
There was some comments in there, like piece by piece that I thought were really interesting, Kev. In the first one was when Pep picking his brains while Mikel was still playing.
Hmm.
I thought that was fascinating. This guy is managing and winning at the highest level with Iniesta and Xavi and Messi, the holy trinity, and he's calling Mikel to ask him about the English game. The other thing I thought that was interesting was we talked even when Arteta arrived, we had a conversation about how impressed we were with him in the Manchester City All or Nothing documentary, Kev. The
Mhm.
one-on-ones with the players. You could see a lot of that philosophy kind of when we watched the Arsenal All or Nothing.
Mhm.
You know, he talks about him being his mentor, you know, his hero really. When you're in La Masia and Pep is like the Don of Barcelona, you know, and you're coming through as a young player, like he's the guy. I found that the relationship I felt without Pep giving an interview to anybody, Arteta with 2 comments in the interview with Jamie Carragher not only told us a lot about Pep, but a lot about himself, but a lot about Pep as well. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, but what you must understand as well, Soph, is Pep's a football genius, really, when you look at it. And these guys pick up stuff from everyone who they can pick stuff up from. But that's the genius in it, because you would think it's all me, 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 me. No, it isn't. These guys learn from so many other people, and when they get it inside, and then they sort it all out, and then they make it happen. And sometimes let's be honest, sometimes it doesn't happen. We've seen,
Mm.
you know, Pep make a decision of no holding midfield player when they've been a midfield holding player, and they've won all the games with the holding midfield player, and then Champions League final, there's none. So it can work against them sometimes, but these guys are geniuses, and it takes genius sometimes to recognize genius. So
Mm.
the fact of the matter is, yeah, Mikel Arteta's got a long way to go. He's no Pep Guardiola at the moment, that's for sure. Of course he's not. But for Pep Guardiola, if you watch the way Pep Guardiola talks about Mikel Arteta, he speaks about him in glowing terms, absolute glowing
Mm.
terms.
He really does.
And he doesn't need to. If he wasn't sure, he wouldn't need to do that. He was desperate to get him as his assistant. Desperate.
Clearly, Kev.
Desperate. Yeah, desperate to get him. Because you know what? Genius recognized genius. And there's different levels of genius, but if you're a genius and you need to have geniuses with you. You need to have good people with you who can help you, because just hearing from one genius isn't enough. You have to hear from 2, 3, 4. La Masia, there's geniuses there. Look at what they've got through, into the first team. So
Mhm.
it's remarkable, really, the insight. Really good.
And he talked about, you know, having a group of, because he's developed a relationship with Sean McVay, the LA Rams
Yeah,
coach, of course,
coach. Yeah.
being in the Kroenke family, the KSE, you know, sporting families. Talked about NBA as well, and mentioned leaders in corporate world and how they deal with certain situations and stuff like that. I find I love that. I'm a sponge. I want to learn all the time. And, you know, whether in my time at 20th Century Fox and Sony Pictures and stuff like that, whether it was filmmakers I worked with or watching, you know, someone like James Cameron or Adam Sandler, 2 totally different people, Kev, totally different philosophies, totally
Mhm.
different ways of making films. I wanted to kind of lob that at you because it seems to me like Arteta isn't veering too far away from what he's learned from Pep and what Pep's philosophy is. You can be inspired by people and they can be your mentors and you can go in your own direction, but it feels like he's not trying to, is he trying to duplicate what Pep has done at City or
No.
what Pep has done in his career. I almost feel like, okay, I'm gonna say this out loud, and people may not believe it coming out of my mouth, but at the end of this season, should Mikel Arteta win the Premier League? I said this on this show 1 month ago, and people went crazy at me. I said that if he wins the Premier League in this era, in this time, it is as great of achievement as '89 and the Invincibles for now. And for the new fans, the Ashburton Army and all those young uns, Kev, it will be their '89. It will be their
100%.
Invincible.
100%. Listen, 100%. No, but look, let's be brutally honest, Soph. Last season, starting of last season, we've lost the first 3 games. Rock bottom, no points. They want the manager out.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 seasons, if you telling me he could walk away with the Premiership title, or let's say a season and a half, you're 5 points clear in the leagues kind of thing. You're like, what? How did that happen? You know what I mean? How did that happen? So there will be accountability, obviously. There will be a lot of ups and downs. But got to give it to Mikel Arteta, Edu, and the backroom staff. Got to give it to these guys. Really have to give it to them. And you know what? There was a lot of flack flying around, for a lot of the people in the background a year to 18 months ago. But just like anything, Soph, nothing doesn't happen overnight. If you're building something, you need the foundation. Now we've got the foundation in.
Mm-hmm.
Look where we can go. We can go and get a Zinchenko. We can go and get a Jesus. We can go and get Matt Turner. We can go and get more players, hopefully in January, to give us the best chance to win this whole thing. Hey, we always say, Sophie, nobody has a divine right to win anything. But what we want is to be able to challenge. That's what we want. But to give it a right go. Not, oh, we're there and then we just fall away. No, give it a right go right until the end. And let's see where the chips fall.
Yeah.
Well said, Navarre. Rome wasn't built in one day.
It certainly wasn't. I have a question for you, Kev, in that as a player, you take us behind the scenes and you've worked with a lot of managers, great managers, George Graham, Walter Smith. I mean, is the your pull for Arsenal is so great. So here's what worries me. Is Arteta's pull for Barcelona great?
Well, it will be, because that's his boy team, isn't it? Of course. But here's the difference. When a club like Arsenal show you the love as a young, inexperienced manager, you come in and do it, and they give you the keys to the kingdom. And they say, build it, refurb it. You know the club, build it and refurb it. That means a lot to a manager like Mikel Arteta, let me tell you. That means a hell of a lot. And yeah, Barcelona might come calling, but Mikel Arteta, I believe, will feel obligated to Arsenal to finish what he started. That's for sure. Because we are nowhere near the finished article yet.
What do you think about this? Because Avon, I think this is interesting too, Avon, Manchester City. Because I think City, I said this on the show the other day, Kev. I think City is Pep's new Barcelona. And Pep will not end and not stop until he's won the Champions League with Manchester City. I don't. I think that's the pinnacle for Pep. And until
Yeah,
he
but
does that, he's not going anywhere. And he just signed a new contract, just a few
yeah,
months ago, earlier this
yeah.
year.
But here's the difference. No disrespect to Man City, they're not Arsenal. Mikel Arteta is the manager of Arsenal, the Arsenal. Different dynamic. He's been in City, yes, but he left City to come to Arsenal to be the manager. Started off okay, went up the loop, and then we were shooting right down, and then we go up again, building a foundation. We've built the foundation. He's gone through pain. You know, there might be some more pain to come. Are we ready for it? Well, if we keep performing like we are, we're ready for a little bit of pain here and there. You know, we don't mind as long as we get what we want in the end. But Manchester City, great club that they are, they're not the Arsenal. They're not.
You know what, Kev? They're not the Arsenal. And I just wanted to read this. I love what's happening at the club right now, and it'd be one hell of an achievement if they push on and win the Premier League title this season. But I still feel that 89 achievement was incredible. Of course, generationally, it's going to be, but for this generation, this would be incredible. When you think about modern football and the money involved in the game and how much money City have. And even Newcastle have the money now. They haven't spent it, but they will. It's coming. We all know it's coming. They've just started off soft. You know, it's kind of like they haven't thrown the
They've
curveball
spent
yet.
enough. Don't worry about that. They've spent enough at the as is.
And Kev, they haven't thrown the curveball yet at the Premier League in terms of their spending, but it is coming. They've strategically been patient in that. But when you kind of look at the situation with Arsenal, Manchester City are a small club doing big things in the Premier League and the world. And I say that with so much respect. And Kev, I know will back me up 150 million% here. Arsenal Football Club are a big club who have done small things in the Premier League since 2004. Tiny, tiny morsels. It's like Hansel and Gretel. Follow,
Yeah,
or Judy.
follow the little pieces.
The pieces.
Get a little, follow
the little pieces. But there is no doubt Arsenal Football Club are much bigger than City. City are building to be a big club, but they can't sell out their home games for Champions League matches. They just don't have that bandwidth as fans. It's United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, who have been scratching and the mosquito biting at us, haven't they, Kev, over the last few years? And because they've won European trophies recently, a lot of people have put them ahead of us.
Yeah, I mean, look, in because of money and because of Abramovich, who changed the game, etc. You could say, yeah, they've done this, they've done that, great, but over the history, nowhere near. There's big arguments. Spurs are bigger than Chelsea. I know that might cause some controversy, but you could say that, can't you? Over the period.
Yeah. Cundy was praising us yesterday. Well, if you missed the show, and he'll be back on the show, 25,000 of you have now listened to it on the YouTube channel. He is praising us.
He's a good lad, Jason. He's a good lad.
He's a good lad, Jay. And Kev, there's banter, isn't there? Because part of him is afraid. They're all afraid of what we could do.
And you know what, Soph? It's not. They're afraid. They're not. You think they're afraid because of the first half of the season. That scared a bit. But they know that the ceiling for this team is nowhere near being met. We've messed about in games. We've gone 2 goals up and then got pegged back at home, and we've scored own goals and made mistakes and made life difficult for ourselves. Imagine we clean up 50% of that. we'll be hard to stop. So I'm telling you, even if we could clean up 50% of the mishaps and mistakes. So I think people are scared at what's to come.
I do too. And I really truly believe, and I was an Arteta critic for 18 strong, hard months. I went in 2-footed studs up on
Mm.
Mikel. If he wins the Premier League this season, for me, who saw the Arsenal win 89, who saw the Invincibles, I was born in 71, so I was a little bit too young for that. I think it stacks up. And I think it stacks up because if you win a Premier League when City have Alvarez and Haaland and Liverpool, I'm sorry, you still have good players. Conte, the lauded messiah of Tottenham, Chelsea, still have good players. If he achieves this for our club, I stack it up there as
Well,
equal as any of those other trophies, Kev.
well, I think you've got to look at how deep the Premier League is now. The
Isn't it
teams are
harder
deep.
now, Kev? Isn't it
Yes,
harder?
it's harder now because realistically, at the time, although listen, there was a lot of good teams, but the one team that you knew you had to, kind of like City now. But we were saying that about Liverpool at the start of the season. We didn't know Liverpool would take a dip. We didn't know that.
No.
So that's what you do. You say, who are the two outstanding teams? Who are the outstanding teams? You say Man City, Liverpool, and then you go like Chelsea usually finish third. Then Manchester United or Spurs or Arsenal or, Newcastle have spent money. So what's that, 7, 8? West Ham are up there. 8 teams. So it's a lot deeper. Anyone could beat any one of those 8.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, what we've got to do, just like anything, Sophie, we've got to believe in what we're doing. We've got to invest where we can and make it better because we can't just buy stopgaps. That won't work. Because as you can see, you saw the Man City Liverpool game the other night. Look who they're bringing Jack Grealish off the bench.
Yeah.
Phil Foden off the bench.
Phil Foden off the bench.
Jack Grealish and Phil Foden.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest challenge. It's not a joke. And they're coming back. I wanted to ask you this too as a player, Kev, because, Manchester United have a World Cup winner coming back to their team. Manchester City have a World Cup winner. Tottenham have a World Cup winner coming back to their team. I already saw the exchange between Scott McTominay and his, the butcher. And he says, now the next one. What does that? We talked about Jesus and Zinchenko coming into our dressing room, having won the Premier League, having achieved all these incredible goals playing with Manchester City and being managed under Pep. What does it mean for the other players who are receiving their World Cup winning teammates at the club level? And how does that elevate everyone around them?
It don't
Take me
really
into the
elevate.
dressing room.
Well, it don't really elevate.
Is it just
don't
like your
really-
mate and you say thank you, well done,
You're
and you
pleased
move
for him.
on?
Yeah, you're pleased for him, of course, but it doesn't really elevate because it's not as if he's new. He came in the summer. He's played virtually half a season. So they know what he's about. They're going to be really pleased for him, obviously, going on international duty and winning the World Cup. Fantastic for him. But this is domestic. It's different. And the Premier League is unforgiving, as you well know. You take a step backwards and somebody else will be in your spot. That's for sure. So you can't afford to rest on your laurels.
If you think this is as true this season as it has been in previous, Lynn says, Sophie, let's be honest, Manchester City have 2 teams to pick from. So if Arteta does win the Premier League, then the achievement would be huge. When you look at the squad depth of those other teams, Kev, and what Lynn is saying here, does it just elevate it even tenfold?
Well, of course it does. It makes it where I think we discussed it and we called it we're playing catch up. And that's what we're doing. We're playing catch up all the time. Now, when you've got a first 11 like we've got, great. You can compete. But we know the season's a marathon. And there's going to be times where you're going to have to lean on your squad. That's coming on Boxing Day. We're going to have to lean a little bit on our squad, hoping that we could maybe get through and make sure we can get through. But ideally, Soph, we would like to have more depth. So if one's not in, we can plug and play. Not square pegs, round hole. Square peg, square hole. Just slot straight in.
Yes.
One could come out and one can go in. And we don't lose quality. We don't lose momentum. And we don't lose power. That's the difference. We do at times. We lose power. We lose momentum. But we've got such a great opportunity, Sophie. And again, going back to the Mikel Arteta interview, you know, they're after good players. They're after adding quality to the squad, as rightly they should. So it's good.
Okay, so 200 plus of you in the house. Hit the like button, kiss it, caress it, love it, like it. You getting Super Kev on a bonus night. Bonus night. I need every single person who is in live chat right now to hit the like button. If you want to headbutt it, if you want to nut it, chest it,
slot it in the corner,
slot it, French kiss it, whatever you want to do is
just
fine
do
with
a
us.
viddy.
And if you don't, just telling you, be careful tonight.
Brock the neck.
Okay, let's get to some of your questions. Here we go, Kev. I want to share this one. It's not a question, but I love this. This is Sean. Taking my mother for a tour around the Emirates by Perry Groves, end of January. I'm really excited. My mother supported the Arsenal since 72. She loved Charlie George. I love that. How lovely is that?
It's nice you taking your mum, Sean, on a tour.
Good lad.
And you'll have fantastic time with Groves. He's a great guy.
Excellent. Okay, Kev, I've got this one for you. With no Saliba on Boxing Day, who is Kev's back four? My guess is White, Holding, Gabriel, and Tierney. What say you, Super Kev?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you're right. Tommy Arsu won't be fit, or he won't be risked. Zinchenko's not quite right with his injury, I believe. So, yeah, White, Holding, Gabriel, Tierney. They seem to be the ones who have been playing the majority of the games. Now that White's back as well, so that looks fine to me.
All right, here's one from Matty K. Kev, name 2 realistic players in your eyes who'd help the squad solidify top 4 or even better. Many thanks. Happy Christmas. Lots of love.
2 players. I think the ones that we've been linked to already. Look, you could say Mudryk can come in, definitely help us. And we do need a midfielder. And we've been linked with Tielemans all this time. Tielemans could help us, let me tell you. Because one thing he can do, not only is he good on the ball, he can score goals. We need players. We need more firepower as well, guys. That's what we need. We need players who can score goals. And take and score from outside the box. We've been linked with Milinkovic-Savic. We know what he can do. He can score goals from midfield. Been linked with Zaha. He can score goals. So it seems like what we're trying to do is up the goal ratio in this team. And it's that smart business. If we can get some of these players who can help, it's smart business.
What do you say to our chief like officer, Tammy? I have it here somewhere. You won't win anything relying on Eddie up front. What's your take on that, Kev?
We've got nobody else. But we've got no. But here's the thing: we've got nobody else, and we have to rely on Eddie. We have to rely on Eddie. Now, who knows what's going to happen? But you know what? If Eddie could hold the fort until Jesus is right, that might just be the most important part of the season for us. You know, that window when Jesus isn't there, while he's getting fit, Eddie holds serve. We don't need him to be spectacular. Let's get it right. We just need him to play a part, get a few goals, and we keep winning. That's the name of the game. Because let's be honest, I don't expect Eddie to be an incredible, he's going to score 10 goals in 5 games. I don't expect that. I expect Eddie to play his part. And to be fair, whenever he's come in, he scored a few goals. That's what we need. We need to win a few games. We need Eddie to play his part. Even if he doesn't score, keep the defense occupied. That's where we're going to rely on Martinelli and Saka and Xhaka and Odegaard. You know, we're going to rely on other players as well. This can't be just all on Eddie now. We can't do that, guys. That's not fair. He is a striker. We do need him to score goals. But we win as a team and we lose as a team. If we win as a team.
So I agree with you. And I think Eddie for 6, 7, 8 games can do it, score goals. I don't think you and I have talked about this before, Kev, about, you know, if he's the guy, if he's supposed to be the guy for 20 games, we're not sure about that.
Yeah,
but
we're not sure because he's never had that opportunity.
No, he hasn't. But at West Ham, I was at the West Ham game at the Olympic Stadium at the end of last season, and Eddie had a great game against West Ham. He wasn't the reason why we didn't qualify for Champions League football at the end. He actually did his job and scored some goals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, we lost midfield and we lost a little, you know, that dynamic in the defense, you know, without some of those key players. I wanted to put this one up for you because Pep Guardiola came out and said the other day, Kev, that the players who went to the World Cup will probably be in better condition than the players who stayed behind. Boy's saying Saliba lost his match fitness while not playing for France at the World Cup. Now he goes reserves for 2 weeks. Talk me through this a little bit as a player, if you've experienced that or seen that with colleagues before regarding this.
Well, if you're just training and you're not playing, and remember, it's a month, it's a long time. No real games. He came on in the, was it the second game, didn't he, or whatever, a group game, and that was it. So you're going to lose a yard, a little bit of sharpness, etc. So I'm not sure how many games he'll need. He might need a game, but might be behind closed doors, or he might need a game in the reserves, under 23s or whatever, just to, you know, get his eye in, because what you don't want to do is take a chance. So much riding on it now, you know, in the first team. But he seems to be flawless, that guy, doesn't he? He seems to be able to, you know, to settle himself and play to a very high level. But we'll see. Again, you know, a little bit of fitness is lost, and this is what this gap is for. And if he's not going to be right to play, then, you know, you get him right.
So Kev, why are some of the City players who played in the Carabao Cup, like, I think Saliba can come in and play. What?
No, I'm not saying he can't, Soph. Like I said.
No. Yeah.
No, I'm saying if you put him in, he could be effortless. But with all these sports science people and all that kind of thing, they'll do the testing. They'll do all that. For me, Sophie, he plays. If it's me
too.
If it's me, are you okay? You're right mentally.
Fine.
Right, you're in. Let's go. But if he's not sure, you don't take the risk. Yeah. You don't take the risk.
That's where the play. Ask him how he is, how he's doing. Okay, let's fire through these questions. We've got Super Kevin Campbell here for a live fan Q&A. It's the eve of Christmas Eve, people. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Do not go away. We've got some fun stuff to give away at the end of the evening and stuff to share with you too. Right, Kev. So I've got this one for you. Let's see this.
Also too, Ian.
What's this?
Ian said, He hopes
Yeah.
Eddie proves the doubters wrong. I
Yes.
said, I hope so
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I would love that. Honestly, nothing would give me more joy than for him to just shut everyone up. Incoming brace. I'll get to that at the end.
Mm.
What's the Felix 8 million loan stuff? Any of you know? No, I haven't heard anything about that. Not speculating on that.
Well,
Hey,
what we
Kev,
do know,
what do we know?
what we do know is he's not going to be at Atletico Madrid, and there might be an opportunity to try before you buy. Atletico Madrid will want a fee for loan, but it could be if it was 8 million, that's cheap.
For a
That's
player
cheap.
like him?
For a
Holy cow.
player like him, that's cheap.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow. Oh, just realized my little Arsenal sign isn't showing fully there, Kev. Just had to make a minor adjustment. Okay. Let's see. Demsek says we will have to get 100 points to win the league. Do you agree, Kev?
Maybe, maybe not, Demsek. Maybe not. I'll tell you what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to score more goals. Because that we know City can score at a high rate. Just like when they went toe-to-toe with Liverpool, Liverpool could score at a high rate. If we're scoring at a high rate, it puts massive pressure on Manchester City. Massive pressure.
Okay, here we get. All right, Kev, let's get to this. Oh, I love this.
Why don't you do it, Newman?
Yeah,
As opposed to telling everybody else.
Everyone else out.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You ask a good question.
I left my yellow and red card in the garage because I was playing with some of the kids in the neighborhood. I was an AYSO coach, people. I've coached the kids. I'm not saying I'm Pep or Mikel, but I'm telling you, my 4-3-3.
You're close.
I didn't get. We lost in the semi-final, Kev. We lost in the semi-final.
Listen, it happens. Telling you, it happens.
I know the pain.
Yeah,
Andrew says, "Big Kev loved watching videos of you when I was younger. Can we win the league this year?"
Can we? Yes, of course.
Don't make me cry, Kev.
We can. We can win it. We can win it all, and turn the Premiership on its head. That's what we can do. But will we? We've got to give ourselves the best chance ever, and that means we've got to invest in Jan. Regardless, if you know what, we go and we play West Ham and we beat West Ham and we beat Newcastle, and we still need to invest.
So, Kev, I was having this exact same conversation with my cousin Louis this morning because he was like, "Hey, cuz, what's happening? What do we need? What are we doing?" And there's so much focus because Jesus got injured on this striker position, which wasn't part of Arsenal's plan and may become part of the plan in January. But I think that this exactly what Zod is talking about here, Kev, is probably even more important. And I say that maybe loosely or naively because Martinelli scoring goals, Saka scoring goals, Xhaka scoring goals, Partey scoring goals, Odegaard is scoring goals. So Jesus wasn't scoring goals, and we know what he does off the ball and how vital and how important that is. And it's the reason why we're 5 points clear at the top. But is this your number one position for January?
No. Striker or forward. We know we talk about Thomas Partey and he'd be the biggest miss, etc. But if you've got firepower in front of El Neni can do a job. What you've got to do, you've got to put the opposition's mind in a spin of who they have to mark. Who are the threats? If the threat's only the front three, right, we could start putting real pressure on their midfield. But if there's 4 or 5 players who carry a threat, that gives the opposition major problems. That's why Granit Xhaka has been so influential this season, because he's playing further forward. The opposition used to see him in midfield a lot more. Now he's further up the pitch. He's causing problems. He's getting in the opposition's box. And that's what they usually do not see from him. So what do they have to do? They have to account from him. The midfield player that used to just sit out there and wait and then break off Granit Xhaka now has to track him back into the box. Martinelli then can come off that wing. Why? Because Zinchenko goes and sits in the midfield. So he can then go and join Jesus in the middle. He can run across against Nottingham Forest and get the header. Because what's behind them, they trust. They trust what's going on. So it is a position we do need to strengthen. 100%, of course we do.
Yeah.
But I think I still say firepower. Thing is, so we win games. Winning games is what's going to get us to the promised land.
100%.
And you need firepower for that.
Yeah. No, Kev, you know, we used to say, like, by the way, I think my mic dropped out for a minute into not this mic and the other mic, so apologies for that. I got schooled by a couple of squaddies, Kev. Goals are important. I mean, if we had a prolific goal scorer last season, we would have qualified for the Champions League, and now we'd be talking a totally different conversation about the evolution of the club and you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, points make prizes, like Bruce used to say. Goals give points.
Goals change games. Goals get the points.
Yeah, because we do have that defense. You're right, Kev. They're solid.
And goals, I'll tell you what goals also does, Sophie. Goals puts fear into the opposition. Because they all watch Match of the Day and Sky, and they see all the goals and they see Saka and Martinelli running right. They see Jesus holding the ball up and being a massive threat, and they see Xhaka getting into the box and Odegaard pulling strings and Partey scoring from outside the box. All of a sudden, they're all scoring. They're all scoring. Saliba's coming up from the back and bending balls into top corner. You know, they're all chipping in. So when you got 7, 8, 9 different scorers in your team,
yeah,
opposition have got a problem.
You said this 2 years ago to me. The midfield needs to get more goals. The attacking wingers need to get more goals. We were so reliant on Aubameyang all the time for everything, Kev.
Too reliant.
Yeah. And I think Mikel's learned from that. And I was asked on Sky Sports this morning, you know, that if someone comes in, they do well, you know, what's Jesus? Does he immediately just come back into the team? And the way I responded to that, and I'd love your answer, Kev, is the way Mikel loves to play, Jesus is his man. Because Mikel knows that he's not the prolific goal scorer. It's all the other intangibles that he has as part of his game that help him be the nucleus of his plan, his thinking. So if Mikel's been thrown off because his talisman is gone for at least 3 months, we don't know. And so I answered and I said, sure, fine. If someone comes in and they do well, fine. But the way Gabriel Jesus plays, that's what Mikel wants. That is the number 9 that he wants. That's the role. Do you agree with me, Kev? Like,
no, I understand totally what you're saying. Listen, he chose Jesus for a reason. He waited for himself. He waited and waited till the summer and got him. Signed him, and we've seen the difference. Even though he creates his own chances as well. So let me tell you how hard that is as a striker.
Tell me, as a striker.
How hard that is as a striker. Normally,
you say create your own chances. What? You're just picking up a ball off like the corner or somewhere.
No, the ball comes into you and you can get it, outfox a defender and dribble your way to the box until you're met with the goalkeeper and you get a chance. That's creating your own chances. That's what he does. And he hasn't been taking them a lot of the time. But over a course of a season, Sophie, they will start going in. That is undefendable. You cannot defend a player like that when when he could drop his shoulder, beat somebody, get into the box where you can't touch him, and then create his own chance in the box. Let me tell you something. That's unbelievable. That really is. As opposed to relying, we need Saka, we need Ødegaard, we need Martinelli. This guy don't need anybody. He don't need anybody. It's great if we could get him some tap-ins, but he's making the others better, as well as creating chances. And this is my point where I'm saying the ceiling is huge, because we done really well so far. And it might sound crazy. We done well with 5 points clear, but we could do so much better.
Sorry, I was mute. Don't start me on the VAR report that came out that the number one egregious. I mean, don't get me started, because we can be doing so much better, not only of our own volition, Kev, but also potentially we would be unbeaten at this point, because I do truly believe, look, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm Sostradamus, and I'm telling you right now that if that goal stood, United are not. I was there at that game. I was standing with the fans in the away end. We were never going to lose that game. When we scored that goal, we went absolutely crazy. I've never experienced that since maybe late 90s, early 2000s, Kev, away, in terms of the vibe, the atmosphere. Everyone knew as soon as that goal went in, we're battering this lot today. We are on it. And when that goal was not given to us, we all looked at each other after we realized the goal wasn't given. It's
one of them
just
days,
another.
you just
it's
know
one of those days at Old Trafford.
One of those days at Old Trafford, right?
100%.
Again, so I don't even want to talk about VAR and stuff. I'm just talking about the team. Our team, the ceiling in our team.
High.
No,
I think it's higher than
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think in terms of ceiling,
Martinelli.
I think he could be a Ballon d'Or winner.
Saka.
I think he could be a Ballon d'Or winner.
Even Eddie's potential is
he's not
good.
A Ballon d'Or winner.
No, but he's still good. He can score goals. When you create chances, he will score goals. He'll miss some. He'll miss some. But tell me a striker that don't miss. Ødegaard still got room for growth. And ESR, he's another one. They're making sure they're not risking him at the moment. They're making sure when he comes back, he's ready. He's got huge, and he's got a point to prove now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Jesus ain't there. We've got players, I believe. We're looking at Eddie. We've got other players who I believe can step up. I think Saka could take things on, and Martinelli. They're World Cup players now.
Let me ask
Saka,
you something.
I believe, is world class, right?
Okay, so the Ballon d'Or, people already think that Messi will win that, right? Next year. Yeah. What if we do? I'm totally veering off here a little bit, but if we do win, because I've got like 27 more questions for you. Oh my God, we're 58 minutes in. Okay,
and
I will save my Saka Ballon d'Or theory.
And
I was going to say, if we win the Premier League and Saka is a shining star, he's up there for a Ballon d'Or nomination, no? At higher level, not the kiddie one. You know, when you sit at the kids' table.
He'll be getting recognised now.
Yeah.
He'll be getting recognised. Because let's be honest, player of the season for two years, then win a Premier League, and England Player of the Year, and done really well in the World Cup 11. Welcome to the big boys.
I mean, some people even thought that he got shunned. I mean, you know, because Arsenal didn't win anything, a lot of people thought that he got shafted in the last Ballon d'Or in terms of where he finished positionally and stuff like that.
No.
Martinelli, though, he has Kevin Campbellino.
Campbellino. Is it
Well,
Campbellino? That's
it's
what, yeah,
Brazilian.
I've got. You know when they put the names in your suit. So
That's so
I've
polite.
got Campbellino in one suit.
Have you? I love that.
Yeah, my
All
mate
right.
put it in there.
Let's sophilitis. That sounds like a disease, Taib. I'm
It's
Sociodamus.
it's
Okay.
just swelling, Sophie. It's just swelling.
Door, welcome. Whoa, come on now. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Mr. Door, listen. By the way, 27th, Man United v Forest.
Come on
On
the
Sky
phone.
Sport. I'm on Sky Sports. I'm in the studio. I'm actually in the studio, Sky Sports news studio, with the cans on, doing the game. Come on, you Reds, Forest. I want Forest to beat him.
Come on, Forest to get to the final. Come on. We're all in on Forest, Care. This is it.
Forest.
I mean, that's another show with Dor, but this is, we said on Monday, this could be the nucleus, the thing that really
the
takes
catalyst,
them.
isn't it? Yeah, the catalyst.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd love to see Forest do well. Okay, let's do a few more here. Kev, you get this question all the time about Zaha. Kev's always in on Zaha.
Yeah, I like Zaha. I think you could look at the age and our usual recruitment policy now, buying young, buying players with potential, etc. But you know what? We've got a league to win. And if we've got a league to win, sometimes you have to go and get those players who can do it now. Because you know what? I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait till next year or the year after. I want to do it now. I want it now.
Exactly.
My hunger is now. Don't tell me you're going to feed me tomorrow or on Christmas Day. If I'm hungry now, I want to eat now. So let's try and do it now. If we can, Daniel. And listen, getting him out of Crystal Palace will be difficult, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick's manager, and if we really want him, he's somebody who we know can play right through the middle. He can play left, right, or through the middle. He's a threat. He's somebody who the opposition have to account for. They have to account for him. And look at the other players we got up there. So, listen, it's going to be interesting because he's in his last year as well.
All right, Kev. I actually have a sensible question for you, and everyone said to me, Newman has actually asked a really good question. Can you show it to Kev? If Arsenal gets to the Europa League final, can they cope with another 9 games in the fixture list? Proper answer, please. It doesn't usually ask.
Not just really
optimism.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
I thought you guys said he asked a good question. He asked a good question, but he had to be flippant.
No, but that's Newman for you. But how many games is it in the Europa? There's loads of games in the Europa.
We're in the round of, we've got a bye week.
No, but what I'm saying is, we've had the league.
We've had the toughest part.
The toughest part's gone. Then it comes to be a knockout. Is it talking about 9 games? Of course. If you can go through in the Europa, you can go through in the Champions League. But what you have to do is have better players in the Champions League. That's the difference. You need a stronger unit, a stronger squad.
Fair enough. Okay, Greek Commander, please repost your question about the referees because there's a lot going on in the chat and I have totally lost it. Okay, let's see. There was talk, Lynn, there was some talk that Edu has been in contact with Vlahovic and his agent. How true do you think this is?
I think they would consider it.
I think this would be a great signing.
I think you could always check it and see, test the temperature. Because all of a sudden,
try before you buy. You said, Kev, right?
Well, not necessarily that, but just test the temperature to how things are at Juventus now and how they feel. Because Juventus are in big problems. So maybe that might be
Not only on the
conducive.
pitch, Kev, the pitch as well.
No, but that's what I mean. They're in big problems. So there might be an opportunity where they have to start offloading and bringing some money in. That's my point.
You know, I didn't find Vlahovic to be very personable when I was covering Juventus, Kev. I loved Bonucci. Allegri there was something off about Juventus when they were here in the summer. And he didn't look happy. He looked he came across as kind of sullen. You know what I mean? And again, that could just be because he's realized that he is in a different situation. But in terms of a player who can
He can
add,
score goals.
oh
He can
gosh,
score.
Kev, and
He
not
can,
only
he
that,
can
he's
score goals.
you
Big.
tell everyone you're the
big as well.
striker. He's strong in the air. He's
Big, strong, left foot, right foot. He's goal scorer, penalty taker. Wants to have the agile. Wants to be in that position. Wants to be, the killer.
Mhm.
We've not had a striker like that since Aubameyang at his prime. You could rely on. He's a killer. This guy's a killer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. All right, we're going to have to speed things up here, everybody. Okay, Greek Commander says, why am I struggling to recruit new refs from ethnic communities? What can we do to get young, diverse refs into the game? No diversity at grassroots, no diversity in the Premier League. Any advice, Casey?
Yeah, pay him. Pay him. Pay him. Being a ref's an unforgiving job. And some of the stuff that happens to young referees out there, I mean, it's nothing short of disgraceful. So it's not just ethnic minorities, but you got to pay these guys. Pay them properly.
Why do people? It's the same thing here. The NFL have done a better job of it, and the NBA very good at it. But why the people that are the custodians of the moment to not respect that with giving them, like you're asking them to execute and oversee the rules of the game, the integrity of the game on the pitch. You got to pay them. That was another thing we talked about on the show this morning, Kev, is that because Howard Webb has come out and he said he wants more ex-players to be involved in refereeing. And I said to them, I'm like, I don't want an ex-Tottenham player refereeing an Arsenal match.
No, but you listen, you would get the mix. But not only refereeing, it's in that VAR room as well. I had a chat with Geordie Pete today on the show. And I was saying, yeah, it's all very well saying about referees. And yeah, you could do that. And you don't have to be the top players either. You could play at a decent standard to know, because you know what goes through a player's mind. But it seems like the power's taken away by that VAR room, Soph. And how many times have we seen that VAR room mess up? Too many times. No, too many times.
Yeah.
So you get an ex-player in there as well, all of a sudden, you've got more of a balance. One on the pitch.
I wouldn't mind that.
One in the VAR room.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind that at all. Okay, let's fire through these as quick fire, Kev. Anthony asks, Kevin, how would you compare George Graham's style to Arteta?
Totally different, really. The fundamentals on the discipline side are pretty similar, although, the times were different. Mikel Arteta's come in and, he's got non-negotiables in the dressing room, etc. That was part of who George Graham was, making sure everybody was on point and punctual, always smartly dressed, etc., etc., etc. So playing styles were different. George Graham loved the 4-4-2 system, loved his back four and back five, should I say, the goalkeeper and his back four. He worked with them. He said, I'll let you glory boys go with Theo and Stuart and stuff like that. But he says he's going to make sure that's the foundation of the Arsenal team for the next decade. And it was more than a decade, wasn't it? Where those boys reinvented themselves again under Arsene Wenger after a sticky time when George Graham left. But you see, once you know the system,
Gloves off.
they were masters at it. So honestly, that back four, back five, they were masters at it, and they could shut teams down like you wouldn't believe. And that's the bedrock. So,
do you know, it's so funny how Italian defensive mindedness, and of course, that's how their game was built on, Kev. But a lot of the times, English football for so many years didn't get respect for the technical part of the game. It was more bruiser, right? Everyone's like long ball, lump it. Okay. Well, Liverpool won European Cups, Nottingham Forest won European Cups, Aston Villa won a European Cup in the lump it period, Kev.
So-called lump it, yeah.
So-called lump it period.
That Villa side were good. Oh, my God.
So good.
Don't forget, that Villa side were excellent.
Was it Peter With up front, Kev?
Peter With, Tony Morley, all those guys.
Yeah. But even that Forest team, when you look at that Forest team.
Forest, you're talking quality
They
team.
won it twice.
Hey, listen, they came up for the championship and then won the title.
Brian Clough, what a manager!
Brian Clough came up and then won the European Cup twice. Cloughie, man.
Do you think that he gets?
No,
I tell you, England would have won the World Cup if they'd have made him manager. I guarantee it.
But that's the problem. So
he wasn't a yes man, right?
He weren't a yes man. And the FA, can you imagine what he would have said about some of them?
Sweet FA.
You know what I mean? He would have absolutely tore some of them a new one because, look, the FA is what it is. It is what it is. And Clough is a roadman. Clough is a roadman. He likes everything at a level.
Easy.
He wouldn't stand for it, so he wouldn't stand for it.
Gordon Cowans, that was it. Well done, Mark.
Gordon Cowans, yeah. Dennis Mortimer.
Gary Shaw.
Dennis Mortimer.
Gary Shaw, did he come after the European Cup win, Gary Shaw? Or was he in that? I can't remember. But wow, the blonde hair.
Yeah, blonde hair. Yeah. I think he was I think he was around at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's a whole other show, people. That's brilliant stuff. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. Let's get these quick fire ones here for Kev. Seeing as we were talking about George Graham in the old days, Anthony wants to know who your favourite player at Arsenal was and why.
And my favourite player when I was young was Liam Brady. I love Frank Stapleton, but Liam Brady was fantastic. And
you sat next to him at a game last season?
Last season.
Kev, so I love that story.
Sat beside Liam Brady to watch a game, and it was. We played Watford. Can you remember that Watford game? I think Emil Smith-Rowe scored. We won 1-0.
Yep.
And we missed a hatful of chances and stuff like that. But they made it physical. I think they had a player sent off.
That wasn't the Jones game, was it? No, that was after. Yeah.
No, the Cajones game was way before. But to sit beside him and, he's there and he's talking the game before it happens, and he's saying, Eddie, you got to move, because Eddie played, I think. Eddie, you got to move him. And Lacazette was there, Eddie, you got to move him because Lacazette could move into the space. And I was just thinking, I could.
You were sitting. I remember you telling me he was
because I've done a video, didn't I? And I said,
yeah. It was brilliant.
The brain of this guy, but as he could put a ball on the sixpence and put the ball through the eye of a needle. That's the class that he had. And you know what? It's not fair sometimes because the players now get lauded, and this guy was just incredible.
Let me tell you something, Kev. 3 players, 1 did not play for us, but I always think of that in today's market would just be crazy insane. Paul Davis, Liam Brady, and Glenn Hoddle. Those 3 Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Glenn
I'll add one
Hoddle.
more to
Wait,
yours.
who?
I'll add one more, Rocky.
Rocky. Yeah, of
In
course.
today's market,
Forget about it.
oh my God,
You know,
those players you mentioned.
different levels.
Paul Davis, by the way. If anybody know how good Paul Davis was, that man in the most hectic of games seemed like he had time to make a cup of tea, drink the cup of tea, because he would just take his time, and he was just his technique and he used his body so well.
Kev, do
God.
you think, his legs? When I saw Vieira come to Arsenal, I'm like, oh my God, it reminds me of Pops.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Lanky legs.
Spindly legs, but
Yeah.
strong.
But they felt like, because first with Vieira, I was like, my God, it feels like he has all the time in the world with the ball. Who is this dude?
Mm.
What the heck? I hadn't seen that since Pops.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say Pops because you call him Pops, but the legend that is Paul Davis.
Legend that is Paul Davis, yeah.
What a player. And I know that Greek Commander loves him. Like a lot of that generation, like Gunnar Russ and Terence and
Guys, and don't forget, if you haven't put your number between 1 and 11.
Okay, because we're getting there. Yeah.
If you haven't put it in, no
Put it
double
in.
dipping, put it in.
Okay. We're going to do it again. So, all right. We'll do this real quick. We're 1 hour, 15 minutes in. I got to end this. We got to move on to some of the special stuff. But so many of you have asked questions for Kev. So I'm going to try and rattle through these where he gives a one-word answer, but at least you've been mentioned because that's what I promised on the show. Arnie says, Casey, why don't you respect Newman?
I do respect Newman. I just don't like his art.
Oh, Kev, is your son's name after the R&B artist Turner Tyrese Gibson?
No.
Oh, he's a hottie. Okay. Demsek wants to know, Super Kev, who would you want to serve you from Are You Being Served? Oh my God, another classic. Do you remember? Was Barbara Windsor in that one?
No.
Who was the Wendy Richards?
Wendy Richard was in there.
Who was the blonde guy? The super camp guy?
John Inman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
John
He'd
Inman.
be good.
Probably John Inman because he'll have a laugh. It was quite funny, John Inman.
Arsenal Fan Circle says Monday's a huge game. Win, we go 8 clear with them going to Ellen Road. Apply some pressure. Arsenal.
That's what we want.
Ray, I think Kev answered this earlier about Saliba in terms of him coming back. From Chris Moss, Time Sports. What do you think about Amrabat?
Yeah, Amrabat looks a decent player, but will he start? That's what you got to look at. Will he start? He's a World Cup player. He's a good player, really good player. He's going to want to. Players who come in want to start, don't they? So unless he gets, if we're interested and he wants to buy into the project, then you look who's in front of you and you see Thomas Partey, then you say, all right. But there are European games and there's FA Cup game. There's a lot of football to be played.
Avon says his top 4 in the Europa more important than us than the FA Cup.
They're all important, but that's winning the league. Forget top 4. Winning the league is what we want. If we get top 4, that's we'll take it. But we're as we sit at the top now, we want to win it.
AC, did you buy your lads a decent Christmas present?
Of course. Always.
Oh, they want to know what the bear is on your chest tonight, Kev. This has come in from like all of them.
Well, it's a nice make. It's a brand, and as you could see, the bear is like.
Oh, is it like Paddington?
It's like he's going. He's like he's going out.
Yeah, it's like Mr. Fox.
He's got his shirt open. He's got a nice kettle on, nice watch on, and stuff.
Lito wants to know, does Eddie have any chance of going to... He can just barely get into the Arsenal team, let alone go to the Euros. How about I answer that one for Kev?
Good answer.
Thank you. Okay, we've got number 6. We've got number 3. All right, let's do this. Let's get into the numbers. I don't know how I'm going to find them. I'll tell you something. I don't know. so many, Kev. How are we going to do this? We've got the coin to give away as well.
No, but here's the thing: we're not gonna. What I'm gonna do is reveal the number.
Okay, and then I'll go up.
And then you go after, because it doesn't have to be right now.
Right.
Because we ain't got to. And then we reveal it at another time. We can get it. Then we could let them know, can't we? I could maybe do a video, let them know. You know, these are the 5 winners. Please send us an email. Send us an email with your address on it, please. You know, something like that.
Look at Newman trying to get Tammy. Remember to ask about my art to the chief like officer.
You see, he's a brown noser, isn't he? He's a brown noser.
Kev, would you agree both games against Manchester City is the decider?
No,
that's a good one.
It's not only the decider. There's a lot of football to be played. They're going to mean something, but they won't decide it. You know, because put it this way: you draw both games, they're not deciders, then are they?
Yeah.
If you win both games, then it could turn the tide to your way, but you still haven't won it. And here's the other thing. If you lost both of them, but you're still in the lead, it's not exactly deciding it, is it? So, come on, Arsenal!
I love it. All right, Kev. Right, let's get to the good stuff right here. You've all been very patient. I want all of you in live chat, and we've got a really good number ahead of a Christmas Eve on Christmas night here. We've got Super Kevin Campbell. Hit the like button. Love it, nut it, whatever you want to do to it. And before we get to that proceeding, Kev, it's my brother's birthday today, right?
Happy birthday to you.
George Nicolaou. He's a pilot flying around the world. He's my brother, but he was always the guy that threw me over the garden fence when we get into fights and
like
just play the black.
Look at that. Oh,
does he not look like
gear.
A good fella?
I love the gear, by the way. And is that a Volvo you're referring to?
That's a Volvo.
Yeah, man. I remember those cars, man.
Do you know what? Fast forward 12 years after this, 10. I don't know how old he is here. He crashed that car. He wrote it off. Thank God nothing happened to him. But I thought that was very Spursy because he's a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't crash any of my dad's cars. Just saying, like George Nicolaou.
Spurs are going to crash, aren't they? Let's be honest. It's all right. It's all right. But that's a lovely photo.
That's me and my brother in the late 70s.
Have you noticed something about the photo, everyone? He's got his fingers crossed.
That's Spurs
to win. Spurs to win, and they still not winning, George. God bless. God bless. God bless. That's
so happy birthday to my bro. Yeah, love him. He's celebrating with his family in Cyprus.
Nice one.
Happy birthday. Kev, do you want to do the number first, or do you want to do the coin? Which one?
Let's do the number first, Sophie.
All right.
Now,
so gay. Are you saying my brother looks so gay, Harry? I don't know what you mean. Well, I was. I didn't know then, but you know, I'm just saying. He's a
little lad at the time. That was the style, man. I'm telling you. That was the style.
I'm putting him in a timeout because he's putting on too many times. Happy birthday, George. Very nice, everybody. I love it. Very, very good. Even though he's a Tottenham fan, we're giving him a lot of love. Right, let's do the number first. Okay, Kev. Drum roll.
And the magic number is number.
No! I blew everyone's head off.
Number 3. So whoever put number 3s in, we're going to accumulate them, and there's going to be a method of elimination. Names in a hat, pull them out of the hat, and I'm going to do the video to say who won. Unfortunately, Sophie, you can't. So
I know, but that was my number. That's
amazing.
I love it.
But remember, I asked you to choose the number, and you bloody give the number away at the start.
I just thought you were asking me so I could win too.
But it was a good cover. You were a good cover. Well done.
Okay.
We used it
Thank
well.
you. I have horrible news for you, though. Like,
No, I know what news you're going to say. Newman's on number 3 as well.
he is.
I know. But believe you me, let's see if Newman's name comes out of the hat.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because there are
Is
other
one,
number
all
threes.
you've done by getting the number right here is all the threes then go into a pot.
I'm happy Terence has it. Double
And-
T.
And
Tibby.
I pick them out, and then we'll see. Hey, Newman, you might get lucky. Christmas might be good to you, mate. And I know how much you love Paul Davis.
Okay, perfect. Number 3. I love it. And never fails on the roulette wheel. They don't believe him either. Okay, here we go with our Highbury Squad coin, our next giveaway. We did receive a nomination. And I guess I have to share it because he's been spewing about it in chat, and he's got the Chief Like Officer Tammy on it and everybody, Matty K. And Arnie's on his side, and he's like, people are emailing me like, why won't you give him the coin and whatever? And he sent a new piece for you, Kev, to consider. This is Newman's latest art. And he would love a Zenith Highbury Squad coin. Kev, he's made you look like Phil Mitchell from EastEnders. I mean, what is happening here? And Gianni Judges looks, I love how he always puts Gianni Judges in it, and Sue Barker. He does have Love Newman. Happy Christmas to the Highbury Squad and Zenith coins. I look very angry in that. I look like a young version of Ruth Ginsburg, the pioneer woman. I think we may have lost Kev. Allow me to remove the picture so you can just see. We lost Kev. Now, listen, you talk about Arsenal podcasts. Where'd you get this on another Arsenal podcast?
He's made me look like, I don't know if anybody's ever read the Viz comic. He's made me look like Roger Melly, the man on the telly. I am disgusted in that. Absolutely. Rubbish. Roger Melly, the man on the telly. Looks nothing like me.
Oh my God. I'm dead too. I'm so dead. A spider crawled through Sophie. It's awful. I mean, Judges may have come out looking the most normal, Kev.
Well, hey, Judges, that's him. But what's all that one? I've got one strand of hair on me. What's all that?
What is that?
What is that?
I know.
That's you see, I can't take that serious.
This is outrageous.
Listen, I'm telling you now. VW know it. Roger Melly, man on the telly. That's him.
Tammy says he deserves a coin for that. And Matthew says at least it's not cut and paste. They actually drew it. I can't believe there are. Listen, I do look like Pat Butcher. He's literally, it's Phil Mitchell and Pat Butcher. What's happening here? It's supposed to be Christmas. What is that?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, do you know what? Do you know
Why
what?
does Casey look white?
Yeah, exactly. You know what?
Oh my God. I'm dead. Okay. Oh.
I know we picked 3, but his name might not even be in the app for that.
All right, so here's
Bang
the
out
person.
of order. He ain't getting no coin for that. No chance. He owes us. He owes us for that.
Lynn thinks he's made you look like Matt Lucas.
Listen, it could be Bobby Lucas. No chance. It's Roger Melly, the man on the telly, that is.
Oh my God. And how amazing is it that at Pro UK says he looks more like Magic Mike? It's so true. It's like that's Magic Mike before he lost 70 pounds over the last 2 months or whatever it is. And it's amazing that you mentioned Magic Mike, because tonight's recipient, Kev, why don't you let the troops know?
No. You're going to let them know. This is yours. I done it last time. This is your one.
I am so proud to announce that tonight's recipient of the Highbury Squad coin is the man who has done so much philanthropically and charitably for cancer, Gooners v Cancer, flying to the UK, flying to the Arsenal tour, going everywhere, raising money, however he can, winning an award at the FCA's, a selfless, special human being who is our friend and also just an all-round epic person. Magic Mike, Kev.
Who boils water in the microwave. Magic Mike. Well done, Magic. Congratulations. Well done, mate.
This little puppy, Magic, is on its way to your new gaff in Florida. Florida, baby. There we go.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Well done, Magic. Well said, Lynn. Well said, Carol, Matthew. Golf clap. Absolutely. Just going to need another piece of art from Newman, Kev. He's going to keep trying. We've got until the 31st.
No, I've had enough. If you're going to put art from Newman on, I won't come on because I'm not having that.
Are you done?
I'm not no Roger Melly man on the telly. That is nothing like me. It's got to have some likeness. God. not even a brother. Come on now.
It's not even a brother from another mother.
You know what I mean?
Seriously,
not even a brother.
Give me a little
Come on now.
Little shade.
Give me some color, Newman.
Oh, brilliant stuff, Kev. An hour and a half. Look, we've given you 3 live shows this week, a bit extended, a bit longer. I know a lot of people on YouTube, they like their short content, but you know what? We'll break it up. When the season starts, trust me, everything's going to kick in just beautifully. So you have had Super Kev 3 times this week?
3 times.
3. All right, soak it up. Listen to the show.
Abused by Newman.
I mean, it's just a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. And so you got, listen, me, I get it because he don't like me. But you, that photo.
Very butch, isn't it? I mean, you know. I mean, I know I like the ladies, but I mean, come on. I mean, I look.
Tell you what, your eyes need to be a bit closer together as well. Look at that.
Oh gosh. Oh God, I can't.
I'll tell you what, but one thing I like about that photo, he's got judges, right? He's got that judges right, hasn't
he? Shampar says the longer the better with this duo. We love it. Absolutely brilliant. Ving Rams. Oh, God,
Ving Rams, yeah.
That's all we have got for you kids today. By the way, Kev, Vespa just thinks that she's been left out. She leaning on me the other day and she goes, Mummy, when am I going to have my swag? So Vinny was showing off. So we got to get her some swag for next season.
Next season, Vespa. You're new to the party. Vinny's been around a while. So
what's your prediction for West Ham, Super Kev?
3. I think 3-1. I think we'll beat them 3-1.
I'm going to go 4-1, and I'm going to say Eddie scores a brace. I'm going to say Gabriel gets a set piece, and there'll be an own goal. And at the end, we'll concede, and it will really annoy Ramsdale.
But you know what? I will take 2-0 all day.
I will take an ugly 1-0 with it coming off someone's.
Of course we will. No, not to concede and just win the game, but I think we'll win convincingly. I think we'll win.
I do too. Matthew, I was on a few days ago. I'll be on next week, and I will share the Sky Sports piece I did this morning with all of you. Super Kev is going to be so busy. You're going to be seeing him
I'm
everywhere
on
in the next few
tomorrow.
weeks.
I'm on
Where are you
tomorrow.
on tomorrow, Kev? What are you doing tomorrow?
Talksport tomorrow. I'm on
Nice.
Talksport tomorrow. And
What time, Kev? Which bit are you doing with who? So we can let
I
everyone know.
think 8:30, 9
Breakfast?
o'clock, I think. 8:30,
With
9 o'clock
Natalie?
tomorrow.
With Natalie
with
and
Natalie
Tony?
and Tony, yeah, tomorrow.
Very nice.
8:30, 9
Okay.
o'clock, I think it is. So
Awesome. Matty says that was a bloody brilliant show, one of the best ever. Thank you. I'm just going to let Kev take us out. And listen, from me personally, I just want to say that today wasn't an easy day, and I just want to tell you how much I love this person, and that you know, you can't see it at the end, at the bottom there, but it says London loves Idaho, from two completely different worlds. My girl's not been feeling the best. It's been a really, really tough year, and we share a lot of things on this show together. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my sweetheart and say thank you to everybody who sent messages over the last few months, and checking in. And our Australian friend, my GG on YouTube, and Archangel, who always check in, and Archangel hasn't been able to be in live chat, always checking in as well. And so many of you, thank you. And I want to just wish everyone health, great health, because it's everything. And thank you for being here with us. I may have a bonus show for you before Monday, so look out for that tonight. But that's me out. Love you guys. This show would be nothing without you, and we'd be nothing without our health. So Merry Christmas to each and every one of you out there who celebrate.
listen, to Sophie and Tony, we wish you health, happiness, and a peaceful festive period. No, nothing untoward. Just like all of you squaddies, the community, enjoy your time, take care, look after yourselves, stay safe. Whatever happens around you, be good and be positive about it. And you know what? Be positive about Arsenal too. And you know what? What else, guys? Love each other. Because you know what? With love, you can't break the bond that we've got. We're a community who love each other, and our love for the Arsenal is always dear. So on that note, I'm going to let you guys get on with your day, your morning, your evening, or your night. Because you know what I'm going to do? I've got some work to do because I'm going to be busy. So look after yourselves. Take good care, squaddies. And you know what comes next. At ease, squaddies. At ease.
Matthew, sorry for your friend. Lots of love to you. And I'm going to give my love for this man right here before New Year's. I'm saving that for the next few days.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.